Well, January looks like it's delivering where the transfer rumors are concerned. Do you think Arsenal will or won't sign any players in any position, people? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What is the priority? Would you go for a left winger? Are you interested in a centre mid? Owing to the injuries defensively, do you think we need to act defensively and bring in some reinforcements there? Or do you think the squad's great? Because, I mean, we've been dealing with injuries since August up until this point, and we've been ticking over. And a side note, people, complete side note before we get into this, yeah. Football is swings and roundabouts. 1 minute it's sunny at your football club and then it's raining. But can I just say, as an Arsenal fan, yeah, for the team that I feel is the most spoke on in world football, and all of those things, how enjoyable is it that our team, we're just doing our job, we're picking up 3 points, we're talking purely from a footballing perspective. Certain conversations that may need to be had might be had in May. But simply put, you're seeing, a lot of teams in disarray off the field, managers getting sacked, people not getting results. And it's all our pagans, man. The last couple of game weeks between Spurs, Man United, City, Liverpool, etc., Chelsea, etc., it's been glorious, people. Arsenal, keep doing your job and let's keep moving. But on the topic of centre midfielders, Declan Rice, Declan twice, double deckers, he's absolute mustard. Surely it is in with an early shout. I'm going to go early and say, you know what, potentially Premier League player of the season. I know you probably need to win silverware. Haaland's on 19 goals, but is there a better performer in the Premier League at this moment than Declan Rice? And if there is, they definitely have to be playing for Arsenal, Timber, and probably Magalhaes for his injury. But yeah, bias aside, I wouldn't mind another centre midfielder, especially if he's like Rice, as it says here. He's like Rice. Arsenal offered unbelievable 47 million midfielder during talks. Offered, so we've been offered a player. We've not actively sought this player. So maybe that's an agent doing a bit of work for their client to get them out of a situation. Upon the conclusion of the summer transfer window, you'd be forgiven for thinking the January market might be a quieter affair for Arsenal. Andrea Berta and Mikel Arteta collaborated to spend vast sums of money to prepare for the 2025-26 campaign, and boy, did they need to. While the jury is still out on the likes of Gyökeres, Eze, Madueke, I think there's in an Arsenal shirt, I think the jury's still out a bit more on Gyökeres and Eze than Madueke. Obviously, expectations adjusted, people. Madueke didn't come in. He didn't get the ovation Eze got, and he didn't get the ovation Gyökeres got, people. The depth they added in defense has more than ever been required. A lot has been made about the Gunners' increased squad depth and giving injuries to pretty much every player in the backline at some point this season, and in the attacking realm, and probably in midfield, because Odegaard's had a knock, Rice has had a knock, Zubimendi's had a knock, Norgard's actually had a knock. Am I missing out a central midfielder? You could include Kai Havertz and maybe even Mikel Merino, people. Arsenal chasing former Premier League midfielder. There was a position we didn't sign, was obviously central midfield. I personally believe long term we could do with two more. If you could have Miles Lewis-Skelly, Zubimendi, Rice, and I'm exaggerating, but Adam Wharton, or I'm exaggerating, but a Pedri, like in terms of skill set, or a Santi Cazorla, I think we're set. If I'm honest with you, I wouldn't be against it. Apparently, according to Court Offside, we're looking at Ruben Neves. Admittedly, there was a time I would have taken Ruben Neves. I'm not really for it. If we signed, I wouldn't care. This feels agent-led, in my opinion. Rumors might suggest that, off the bat, he either wants to get out of Saudi because he's made enough money and his family want to return to London, or I say London, apologies, Europe. Obviously, maybe wants to go back to a competitive league. Maybe, there's been a bust up with him and the manager at said club. I don't know, people. The Portuguese maestro left the Molineux behind for the riches of Saudi Arabia back in 2023, but is now said to be keen on a return to European football. The report claims Neves has actually been offered to several top clubs, including Arsenal, during talks. That said, no concrete response has been issued by the transfer chiefs at the Emirates Stadium. To be fair, agents are always offering their clients to people. In terms of his skill set, wouldn't be against it. I'm sure the set piece coaches at Arsenal would love him via set pieces. I can't see this happening. Maybe because Amarin's left, you could take a bit of the gloss off it. But owing to the Portuguese contingent and the history of Portuguese players at Man United, when I saw Ruben Neves' name as we're reading this, I just thought Man United. And you could argue they need him more than, we need him. Obviously they've got Kobe Mino, who's probably going to start getting some first-team football now that Amarin, apologies, Amarin has departed. Casemiro's done well this season, but he's an old man in football in terms. Ugarte, I just don't think he's worked out, people. To be fair, for what it's worth, Neves and Declan Rice, or Neves and Zubamendi would actually work well together. Let me know in the comments. I can't see this happening. Only Lord knows his wages. He's not an idiot. You know you're not going to get Saudi wages at any club in Europe, but you'd probably want to be on something handsome at Arsenal. And how much do they like him, people? I don't know if he's seen as Santi Cazorla, but he is capable of playing as a deep line playmaker. Does have the ability to dictate the tempo of a game. Does have great passing range, people. Does have a good shot on him, people. So yeah, there is a lot to like about Ruben Neves. So would you have him? Would you have him at 28 years of age? He's also scored 7 direct free kicks in his career. So that could be great, people. I wonder, obviously, I believe form is temporary, class is permanent. If you're a baller, you're a baller. And like Kante's playing in Saudi, I reckon if he came to the Premier, he'd still look great. But as an armchair expert, I wonder how much playing in the Saudi Arabian League that's made you drop off when you go back to Europe. Now, granted, you could caveat that by saying, yeah, DG, I hear that point, but it is the Saudi league, but it's not respectfully. It's not like you're playing Saudi players week in, week out. You're playing a lot of them, but there's a bunch of European-based players or players that were previously based in Europe, or even top-ranking Brazilian players that could cut their teeth at various clubs in Europe going over there. So there probably is an element of competitiveness there, but do you not believe that? Do you not? It wouldn't be an Arsenal transfer window if he wasn't linked with Arda Güler. Apparently, he's part of an 8-name Arsenal transfer shortlist, people. I'm not too sure, but we've been linked with 8 players, people. Jeremy Jacquet, Bartazaghi of AC Milan. I'm not too sure, and I haven't seen this, but honest or no, I'm not sure who the hell that is. Bawardi we've been linked with, and also Alexander Stankovic as well, people. Yildiz is being linked with us consistently. I know a lot of you would love him from Juventus. It feels like our name and a couple of clubs, Chelsea and Man United, are being used in the papers to just drum up a bit of nonsense. It feels like at best in football, it looks like Kenan Yildiz, who is contracted until 2029 at Juventus, probably is going to sign an extension there. And you know how this football thing works. Our names are being used, people, in that regards. For what it's worth, would love Yildiz. Wouldn't be against Arda Güler. I think a lot of us wanted him when he was at Fenerbahce. Obviously, he's a quality player. If we could pull the trigger, great. But what is the fee? I only say the fee because his quality, his talent, his potential, how he would fit into Arsenal squad with the amount of games makes sense. But one, surely if you're Real Madrid, you're going to do with Arda Güler and maybe even Endrick, you're going to do with Arda Güler what you did with Odegaard. Before you decide to sell him, if that's what you want to do, surely you palm him off on loan either in Spain or another top 5 league for, let's say, 2 years, 18 months. They might earn 40 million for him. He might turn into a 60-odd million pound player or get better. I think they like him. I just don't know how it worked because I'd have you at Arsenal. I want the competition. But in terms of that creative role that Odegaard occupies, you've got Odegaard, Eze, and Wanyeri. Marino has come on for Odegaard, so you could say he could be used in that role. I wouldn't rule out Kai Havertz potentially in that role. Then obviously he can play off the left. Is that his strongest place? He can play off the right. Is he going to get game time, or is that his strongest place? Can't see us revamping our midfield. So for the outlay and stuff, it doesn't really make sense. For what it's worth, wouldn't be against Arda Güler by any stretch of the imagination. But I think every Arsenal fan is accustomed to consistently being linked with Arda Güler and Rodrigo, whether they're realistic or not. Stranger things have happened. I don't think we're going to see any of that in January, people, if I'm completely honest. It seems, as I said, man, it seems the Man United rumours are more prevalent where Ruben Neves is concerned. But to be fair, he could get a couple moves in the Prem. He could get a couple of moves in Italy. He would fit in well in Spain to some degree. I'm not sure. Now, apparently, we've not just in contract talks with Juri and Timber, and we've committed a number of our players to new deals, and there's rumours around extensions. Seems like a bit of radio silence with Saka, but I think we'll get that done. What do you lot make of this? Arsenal open contract talks with Kai Havertz. Football Transfers can reveal that Arsenal are in discussions with Kai Havertz over a new contract, bearing in mind the money's on. We understand the current talks centre around a 1-year extension to the German international's existing terms, which runs until 2028. Havertz signed his current contract when he joined from Chelsea in a 75 million transfer in 2023. 1-year deal. So why is he being given a 1-year deal? Because from the summer, he's 18 months away from your current deal running out. Why is it only a 1 year? Because he's one of our more consistent. It sounds mad, but excluding Saka in the last few years, he's been one of our more consistent goal scorers. You could argue he still remains our first choice striker when fit. He's adored by Mikel Arteta and things of that ilk. how do you approach it? And I wonder how the Kai Havertz versus Mikel, the Kai Havertz conundrum, because there's plenty of reasons to say move on. There's plenty of reasons to say keep him. I do think people underestimate his importance to the team, his versatility. He's not a bad player, but that's from a sporting perspective, and he's obviously Arteta's guy. When you not only consider a sporting perspective, but look at it financially, in not ideal world, but in an ideal world, Odegaard, Eze, Wanyeri, in that 10 role, they're working in tandem. Gyökeres is the number one striker, if that makes sense, and it's all looking great. Yes, Kai Havertz can play in midfield, but we probably bring in some other midfielders, and you do have other options there. They might look at it and say, oh, he's on 200 odd grand a week. Maybe it's a chance to, if you shave him and Gabriel Jesus, yes, the experience, but you shave them off the wage bill. What does that do for you? What money does that give you to play around with? A 1 year extension is great. I thought it'd be a lot longer than that, but if it's a 1 year extension, especially at 26, I'm not sure what to make of that. Really, that tells me that you don't not have a long-term future at Arsenal, but it's not as a foregone conclusion as I may have led to it to believe people. Let me know your thoughts. And again, this is just speculation. Sources tell us Arsenal want to reward the 26-year-old for his consistently strong performances, great attitude. I cannot say explanatory. I can't say that, but good attitude in training and resilience he has shown in the face of frequent injury setbacks. Sucks for Kai, man. 2 big injuries in 2025. He's only made 1 appearance this season, which was against Man United on the opening day, people. So it's crazy. We hear that so far during the discussions over this extension, a pay increase has not been mentioned. Instead, Arsenal simply want to attract an additional year to Havertz's deal, thus tying him until 2029. The level of commitment and determination shown by him on his road to recovery has impressed Mikel Arteta, and Arsenal want to show Havertz their appreciation for his efforts. Extending the contracts of key players has been Berta's priority since he's joined. Magalhaes, Saliba, Wanyeri, Miles Lewis-Skelly have all signed new deals, and improved deals have been handed to Trossard and Raya, and hopefully we keep doing what we're doing. As it says here, people, we're close to finalizing new terms for Bukayo Saka and Timber. Apparently full agreements are said to be close for both, and apparently Declan Rice is in line for a new deal. I don't think there'll be any issues, especially if we strike while the iron's hot. I could be wrong, let me know. I'm having Jeremy Jacquet, people. As you know, Jeremy Jacquet is in demand. Multiple clubs are keen on the 20-year-old. He's wanted by Chelsea. I mean, you'd get games, but is that the best place at the moment for young players? Man United, massive club, wouldn't begrudge you for going there. Arsenal move, not ideal for Jacquet. I think you could get game time at right back. I don't know what that'd mean for Benjamin White, owing to what we've seen with the landscape at this moment. A few weeks ago, Jurien Timber and Nketiah were our centre-halves against an informed Aston Villa away from home. So there is game time. And to be honest, I just like what we're doing with young players. You never know. As much as Magalhaes and Saliba are here, you never know. Magalhaes maybe, for argument's sake, not going to be here forever. Saliba one day will be going to Madrid. You've got this guy. Do you put the money down, let him go on a few loans? Or do you just... I can't lie, people. It's mainly just with January. I'm a bit nervous. I don't think Rennes will let him go. The links with Arsenal will come as a surprise. They're the best defensive unit in the country, and they have multiple quality defenders at their disposal. They'll not be able to accommodate the 20-year-old in the starting lineup. I mean, if he believes in himself, why could you not get game time, people? We're still linked with Karim Adeyemi, and apparently Borussia Dortmund have decided to place him on the transfer market. I don't think we signed an attacker in January, but us and Manchester United are still linked with him. I definitely can't see us doing it when it's 60, 70 million euros price tag apparently in January. I just can't see it, if I'm honest with you. Apparently, the Gunners have outlined a defined role for him for what it's worth. Competition with Martinelli on the left flank and the ability to operate on the right when required, and occasional deployment as a centre forward. I mean, when do we see that with Martinelli, people? We're linked with Rodrigo. Apparently, we've bidded and in the process of bidding for him, people. And we've also bidded for another fullback, apparently. Apparently, we made contact with Rodrigo last summer. We're long-term admirers. Apparently, Arsenal have been joined by Al Hilal in offering £52 million, 60 million euros for Rodrigo. They consider the player a key player for their project, seeing him as an upgrade on Martinelli. Berta will try to convince Rodrigo to make the switch, despite the fact that Rodrigo seems to finally be getting some game time at Real Madrid. It's like the rumors have resurfaced, and it's not going to happen in January. You knew it was going to be a long season trying to break into allegedly Xabi Alonso's plans. You finally done that on the face of it. you're not going to consider your future surely until the summer at the very earliest, people. So yeah, man, it's easy to link Rodrigo with Arsenal and Saudi Arabia. We're still linked with Nathaniel Brown of Eintracht Frankfurt. He'll cost 65 million. Apparently, we're joined by Barcelona, Madrid, AC Milan, and Manchester City in targeting the 22-year-old who's gained a reputation, as it says here, as a speedy fullback who loves to get forward. I hope that would mean Miles Lewis-Skelly is considered a midfielder. We've gone over this, but we're set to hand Timber a bumper new deal. Apparently, there's been a development where Waneri's potential exit in January is concerned, or a potential loan. We all know he's a bit of a forgotten man. This is said, we understand a number of clubs, both within the Premier League and abroad, have touched base with Waneri's camp and Arsenal to gauge the chances of a deal. Apparently, Man United were linked with him in December, and Chelsea are linked with him at this moment. Sources have confirmed to us Ranieri is not looking to leave, and Arsenal are also looking to keep the teenager at the club. He's got 50 senior appearances, and he scored 10 times and got 2 assists. I can see the logic with going on loan, if I'm honest with you, but I just can't see it happening. We're linked with Vasco da Gama's winger, Raya Rocha, people, who has been, linked with a bunch of clubs, Arsenal, Manchester United, etc. I'm in the process of doing, on the channel, we make sure you subscribe. We do the scouting videos. I think we're going to do scouting videos on players we've been linked with, and I've got one coming out soon with him. So make sure you're subscribing and notification bells are on. But we're still linked with him. This article said it will set you back 80 million euros, people, for the 19-year-old breakout star, who probably is an outsider to get Brazil call-ups. He's not on the market in January. So again, that's probably one that has to be parked off until the summer at the earliest. We are linked with some young players. If Arsenal are to make additions in January, they are most likely to be emerging talents to strengthen their academy and serve as potential first-team prospects. Blackburn Rovers striker Igor Tyjon, 17, remains of interest, and he could move in January. Apparently, he's told Blackburn, I don't want to sign a new deal, so they could look to let him go, people. As it said here, he remains of interest. He's rejected a professional contract with the Championship side. He's a potential addition in January, and he remains of interest. And apparently Aston Villa are also linked with him. This will serve as part of our recruitment drive, people. As you know, we're bringing in, Victor Ozev Nova, who's 16 and will join from Shamrock Rovers this time next year when he turns 18. Next year, August, we've got the Ecuadorian twins, people, Edwin and Holger Quintero, who look very exciting. And yeah, man, we need to start buying these young players. I know for a fact there's an aggressive drive now for Arsenal to, owing to Brexit, to try and get better, the great players in the other academies. And clearly we're trying to piece together things abroad. If these guys can go to the first team, great. We all want that. If they can be brought in for, we say peanuts, but even if somebody signed for £1 million, to us real people, that is a lot of money. But if you can sign a man for a couple of million, sell him for, you buy him for 2 million, you sell him for 20, you can't go wrong making a profit, people. Again, apparently Blackburn have repeatedly tried to tie the English striker down over the course of this season, but have reluctantly accepted he will now go at some stage, people. Apparently we had multiple bids worth over 1 million rejected by Blackburn last summer. This month, transfer window is the last chance for the Championship club to command a fee for him. The striker's scholarship terms expire at the end of the season, when Blackburn would be due compensation if he joins another English side. We've been hunting for another striker since Chido Martins left. We've only really got Andre Harriman and those people who's done well. We did try to sign Will Wright, who opted for Liverpool when he left Salford City, and we know Chido Martin left. Can we have a quick bit of banks, people? Rio Ferdinand dismissed the idea that Mikel Arteta would automatically reject a move to Arsenal after Amarin's sack. No, I don't buy it. He's not going to say it. He would never say it out loud, but I'm telling you, Mikel Arteta would sit there and consider it. I mean, not at this moment in time. Maybe in early 2019 when there was times where he could leave, or times where he could have, should have, and other contexts potentially would have been sacked, maybe. But for now, especially where, because I think with people like Rio, you just look at the clubs. Yeah, Man United is the biggest club in the land. Is he going to get the control he gets at Man United at Arsenal? Do you lot all sing from the same hymn sheet, which from top to bottom, which we do now? Many managers with higher regards for, who have done more in the game than Mikel Arteta, respectfully, Jose Mourinho, Louis van Gaal, they have found serious problems at Man United. So it don't make sense. If he got sacked by Arsenal or left for some reason and Man United put an offer at his door, it's Manchester United. Even if you're not going to accept it, you would obviously consider it. You would reply to the message. Seems like absolute far, if I'm completely honest with you. I know a lot of you Arsenal fans like Bradley Barcola. If you like Bradley Barcola, smash the like button and let me know. And don't forget to leave comments. People drive the algorithm, man. We're at 70K. We're trying to get to 75K by the end of the year, people. I'd be open to Barcola, but I don't really think he is an upgrade on Martinelli, but I don't think you're the upgrade I want. I think you're a good player. It's just, I feel the same way. Well, I think Doué's in a different realm. Doué, I'm not saying this applies to Doué, but these young players, decision making, they're good, but he's lacking decision making in the final third. I'd have him, but I wouldn't look at him like, raw, like we've gone up the gears, if I'm honest. But be a good player with scope to grow. We know he wants to, PSG want to keep him. They're clearly trying to get him tied down to a new deal. This isn't the first time we've seen rumors of this ilk, people. There was significant interest in Bradley Barcola last summer. However, the Frenchman remained at Paris Saint-Germain. Could that change this summer? We all know he was a key part of the Champions League winning squad. I would love Kvaratskhelia, and we got the Napoli guys, so go find the next one. Last summer, there was reported interest from Bayern Munich and Liverpool. However, Barcola remained at the Parc de France. This season, the Lyon Academy product has made 22 appearances, netting 5 goals, all of which have come in Liga. He remains a key player, even if his output remains inconsistent. So if we're bringing in attackers, we want players that have consistent output. Even at the first team right now, I don't think we've got bad attackers, but who's got consistent output? It's probably Trossard at a push based on this season. Statistically, Gyökeres remains our top goal scorer. Some of you would get at Saka. You get where I'm going, people. So that's not really what you want to hear. But there are now doubts that his long-term future lies away from the reigning champions. A journalist has said, I think that Barcola will be a real topic next summer to leave PSG. And apparently PSG are being linked with Diomande of Leipzig, a player I have done a tactical video on. So make sure you check that out as well, people. Yesterday, you would have seen apparently Arsenal are keeping a close eye on Livramento. I'd love him. I would love him. The only bad thing with him is injuries, plus the Arsenal tax of injuries. We might never see you. Left back, right back, probably would be the end of Benjamin White, or maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. We'd love him, people. We should have got him when he was at Southampton. I'm sure we looked at him. He's going to cost a lot of money, probably too much money. And we are linked with being linked and actually doing it is different, but we're being linked consistently with too many fullbacks, despite the fact that we're kind of well stocked there and got players that might not necessarily play there, but can be utilized there. For me not to take stock, and our top track record, for me not to take some stock in, we might actually be in the market, but English tax, Newcastle are going to make it difficult. Not sure how long he's got on his contract. A lot of ducks would need to be in a row for us to get him, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. So am I wrong? Let me know.